The opponent switches out into an unshielded Cresselia. Not really the Skuntank answer you are looking for. Crunch is going to land for big damage. The opponent throws the grass knot as soon as they get it. Skuntank forced to burn that final shield. Can we get the jab down before they make the next one? We cannot, so stay in school, kids. Learn to count. Alex sacks the Hypno on low HP. We will now get the jab down. When Surf Edge does return, the question is Flamethrower going to be enough to knock out? Well, you're going to have to watch the video to find out. Today we got an incredible battle submission from Nerds Rising. Make sure you go check Nerds Rising out. He's a content creator I recently discovered, and not only is he a phenomenal battler, he makes top tier content. I'm going to link his channel down below, so go check out in the description tab. Nerds Rising, aka Alex, what I'm going to refer to him in the video because it's a bit quicker than saying Nerds Rising, and I do shoutcast fairly quick and I'm going to get tongue twisted. But without any further ado, let's take a look at if Hypno and the Dark Core can make its triumphant return in the Great League. And in game 1, we pick up a lead against Stunfisk. This is the Unova variant, aka the Pancake, rather than the more common Steel version, which I reference usually as the Bear Trap. This little Pancake is super spammy. They've already fired off 2 charge moves. Hypno, still pretty bulky in its Shadow variant, has tanked both charge moves. Alex returns fire with the Fire Punch, and the opponent also commits no shields. We are going to reach Fire Punch number 2. You can see confusion from a Shadow Pokemon, really oppressive. The second Fire Punch goes unshielded and we snipe with a Bug Bite, and Forretress enters the arena. The opponent answers our Forretress Safe Switch with a Scrafty. This is actually a pretty neutral matchup, despite us being a Steel type and the opponent being a Fighting type, due to the Dark subtype and the Bug Bites are neutral. And being a one-turn move, they do really start adding up. We get the debuff on the Mirror Shot and the opponent actually commits a shield. Forretress going for Mirror Shot number 2, and the opponent has committed both shields. Holy smokes, what does the opponent have in the back? They don't want to see this Forretress. We don't know, but we're sure as hell about to find out. We bring in Hypno, forcing the opponent to throw. Alex commits no shields, saving his shield for Skuntank. The opponent went for the power-up punch. That definitely wasn't the play. The opponent now forced to throw power-up punch number 2. Hypno still survives. We snipe with a poison jab, and the opponent's got B-drill in the back. And if this opponent doesn't know about Skuntank's flamethrower coverage, they're about to find out. Alex commits no shields on the X-Scissor, and we're about to nuke him back to the Pokeball with a flamethrower. GG's and thanks for playing. Despite Alex running a triple Shadow team, we managed a 2 shield flex and we're off to a 1-0 start heading into battle number 2. We see a bubble Ludicolo. We instantly pivot into Skuntank. The opponent answers with Metachan. However, they did answer pretty late, so Skuntank's already at the first crunch. Crunch does land Metachan deep in the yellow. Alex commits a shield instantly. On the Ice Punch, it looks like he's going to make a play for switch advantage, looking to try and align his Forretress with that Ludicolo. Alex returns fire with Crunch number 2. Metachan just allows itself to go down, and it is a Lowland Sandslash in the back. We make the Flamethrower, but does the opponent respect that fire type coverage? Yes, they do. We now pivot back out into Hypno, also running Fire Punch, so this Sandslash has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. They fire off the Ice Punch. That gets us into the yellow. The opponent is going to fire off Ice Punch number 2. Hypno will survive on minimal HP. We get the Fire Punch off. Is the opponent willing to commit that final shield? Yes, they are. The opponent is now unshielded. Alex has Forretress with a shield and Skuntank remaining as a sacrificial swap. We bring in the Forretress. Sandslash builds up a boatload of energy. Alex shields up a potential Bulldoze, and it's a good shield as they do full send the Bulldoze. They now wham bam combo play into Ludicolo. They send the Leaf Storm. Leaf Storm, a pretty good move, but that is double resisted. Alex now looking for the full Bug Bite farm down. We don't get it, but we do manage to snipe with a poison jab. We've got the Earthquake locked and loaded. Alex doesn't even charge it as Sandslash gets nuked back to its Pokeball. Very well played. Moving on to the next one. We lead our beautiful shiny Shadow Hypno into Seismitoad. Seismitoad, one of the forgotten Mud Boys. However, this one isn't really operating as a Mud Boy, as the opponent is on Bubble. Confusion tearing the opponent apart. They go for the Sludge Bomb, and that does quite a lot of damage. Hypno can't hit this thing for anything other than resisted damage, but Alex fires off the single resisted Thunder Punch and the opponent commits their first Protect Shield. We now pivot out into Forretress. Have we caught the resisted Sludge Bomb? Yes, we have. Beautiful catch from Alex. The opponent pivots out into Marowak. They're already down 1 shield. And we've got that huge Earthquake coverage. The opponent goes straight for a Bone Club. They're running Hex and Bone Club, a pretty interesting moveset. I think you want to run Fire Blast if you're on Hex, but who am I to say we go straight for the Earthquake? And unfortunately, the opponent commits that final shield. Alolan Marowak going to fire off one more Bone Club. This won't knock out, but this is actually worse as the opponent does get a Hex farm down. Alex now sends out his Skunk. He attempts to catch the Hypno. We can't catch as we're caught in the middle of a Poison Jab, so we shield up the Bone Club. Alex is going to have to land a Crunch. We look to catch on Hypno again. The opponent simul swaps, attempting to catch as well. Hypno gets the Confusion farm down and it's Clefable in the back. Thunder Punch does some really nice chip damage. Clefable gets the full Charm down, farm down, but Skuntank can now commit to the full Poison Jab farm down. We're going to leave with the Crunch locked and loaded, and it's going to be night, sleep tight Marowak, and another very well played game. GG's and thanks for playing. You can already tell Nerds Rising, aka Alex, a really talented battler. Make sure you go check out his channel below. Moving on to the next one. The Dream Lead, Hypno into Surfetch. Trust me, Surfetch does not fancy taking any Shadow Confusions. The opponent pivots out into Swampert, and we don't really have the best response. Alex looking to stay in, go for the Chip and Dip with a Thunder Punch. The opponent does shield up the Thunder Punch. We now bring in Forretress. If this is an Earthquake, it's going to do a lot to our Forretress. The opponent full sends the Earthquake, and holy smokes, we near get one shot. One more Mud Shot returns Forretress to its Pokeball. Nothing more than a third shield in this battle. Alex now comes in to Skuntank. We get the resisted Poison Jab farm down. Back out comes Surfetch. Alex builds up to a Flamethrower or Sludge Bomb, and he is baiting with a Crunch. Surfetch, super squishy, commits a shield. Alex going to commit his first Protect Shield as well. They fire off the Leaf Blade. They now pivot out into an unshielded Cresselia. Really not the Skuntank answer you are looking for. Alex goes straight for this Crunch. It lands for huge damage. We don't get the defense drop. We are going to be forced to shield up the Grass Knot. As we are running out of HP, can we get the Poison Jab farm down before the next one? It looks like we cannot, so stay in school, kids. Learn to count is 6, 6, then 5 to each Grass Knot. Alex sacrifices Hypno. We come in, get the Jab farm down. We've got Flamethrower locked and loaded, but is Flamethrower enough to knock out? Yes, it is, and another very impressive dub. Moving on to the next one. We lead Hypno into Gliscor. Gliscor is going to be a core breaker. Hypno, the only Pokemon on the team able to offer any fast move pressure, as due to Gliscor's flying ground type in both Bug Bite and Poison Jab would be resisted. Gliscor has access to Night Slash, and Hypno isn't going to fancy taking too many of them. The opponent goes for a Sandtomb bait. We didn't shield it up. Alex is going to probably be forced to shield up a potential Night Slash on the second charge move. However, the opponent's actually on Aerial Ace. I know this is the early rank, so if you're newer to Pokemon Go PvP, go check out pvpoke.com and they can help you get the most out of your Pokemon and you can get the optimal movesets. But getting back into this battle, Alex switches out into Skuntank. The opponent throws the Sandtomb, which is super effective and lowers our defense, and then pivot out into a Crustle. We are going to make the Crunch. Crunch does land, gets this Crustle into the red. They do get the full Smackdown farm down. The opponent is now unshielded. The opponent has thrown 6 Smackdowns. This could be a Rock Slide, but Alex chooses not to respect it, and the opponent fires off an X-Scissor. Again, if you're newer to Pokemon Go PvP, type into Google Pokemon resistances and you will find out what is super effective, what's resisted, etc. The opponent has Lapras in the back. Lapras is unshielded as Alex full sends the Earthquake. Earthquake does do decent damage to Lapras. We combo play into Hypno, we make the Thunder Punch, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. So despite us having a lot of fun shoutcasting with some trash talk, we do like to be informative, so I'm actually going to go ahead and link PvPoke and a website that has Pokemon type-ins. So I think in the last battle, if the opponent was on optimal moveset and knew their type-ins, it would have been a different outcome. Moving on into the next battle, we lead Hypno into Scrafty. You hate to see it. Alex pivots out into Skuntank. And it looks like the opponent's happy to stay in. They fire off 2 power-up punches, ramping up their attack. Alex builds up to a potential sludge bomb or flamethrower and baits with a crunch. I like this bait as the opponent is double boosted, they are likely to shield, and crunch has a chance to lower the opponent's defense. We do now send back out Hypno. We lose charge move priority. This could be a double boosted foul play. So Alex does shield it up and the opponent goes for a power up punch bait. Unfortunate. Alex fires off the thunder punch. We go for an undercharge, looking to get a little bit more farm. We now snipe with a bug bite. And the opponent answers with Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen does need to land the Earth Power. Alex CMP ties to a potential Earth Power. He's calling the Poison Fang bait and the opponent is not baiting. They full send the Earth Power. Forretress now deep in the red. Mirror shot, not going to do too much damage. Are we going to be able to make one more mirror shot before we get resisted poison jabbed, farmed all the way down? Yes, we can. Mirror shot gets Nidoqueen into the red. The opponent decides not to go for the resisted poison jab, farm down, firing off some energy at our Forretress. We look to snipe with a confusion and it's Trev in the back. Alex in a really tricky spot. Shadow Claws are tearing us apart. We need to get off the back-to-back fire punches and leave with enough health to survive a poison jab. We fire off the first fire punch draws the final protect shield. We fire off fire punch number 2, however confusion is a 4-turn move. Can we survive one poison jab? No, we can't, and the opponent wins the match. Moving on to the next one. We lead Shadow Hypno into Galvantula. Galvantula, being a bug type, can hit us for super effective with lunge, but this pesky spider is so squishy. Confusion is absolutely tearing them apart. Alex respects the lunge, returns fire with a fire punch. I'd put my house on saying Galvantula is going to shield, as pesky spider users pretty much shield everything. The opponent does shield it up. We pivot out into Forretress, looking to catch the resisted lunge. We don't catch, however the opponent throws a lunge anyway. The opponent now brings in the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death, and things have gone from bad to worse. We are going to get farmed all the way down. We fire off a mirror shot, which does absolutely nothing to this Talonflame, and we don't get the attack drop. Alex now sends out Hypno. If they fire off the Brave Bird, we are going to get one shot. However, Alex calls the bait, and what a call it is. As the opponent just fired off a flame charge, Alex then throws one confusion and the thunder punch, which is the correct fast move timing for 4-turn versus 5-turn. As we only gave away one 3-turn, we now pivot out into Skuntank, looking to close. We will be able to poison jab farm Talonflame all the way down, but we're now left deep in the yellow. They've still got that low health Galvantula and whatever is in the back. It's a Azumarill. The opponent attempts to catch Alex, far too smart. If we had Sludge Bomb, this game would be over. We don't have it, so Alex fires off the Crunch Fishing for the defense shot. We don't get the defense shot, so Alex is going to fire off another Crunch. This isn't going to be enough to knock out our Azumarill. We are running out of HP. We look to catch the charge move on Hypno. We don't catch, but the opponent chooses to throw energy anyway. They full send the player off. Can we make the Crunch or jab down? We do make the Crunch, and who needs Sludge Bomb? A Skuntank is still an Azumarill counter confirmed. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see Hypno into Scrafty. Scrafty and Obstagoon's releases were pretty much the reason people stopped using Hypno. However, this opponent chooses to switch out and will absolutely take that. Ferrothorn's grass steel typing does mean that confusion is also resisted. However, we've got access to fire punch and that is going to be double super effective. Alex fires off the fire punch and the opponent shows no respect and they get one shot. The opponent's got Azumarill in the back, so we pivot out into Forretress. Bug bites are resisted, however, unless the Azumarill is running Hydro Pump, which they didn't build up to, as they didn't throw 7 bubbles. We do resist both Play Rough and Ice Beam. Alex builds up well past the Earthquake and is baiting with a mirror shot, and the opponent does respect it with a shield. They now bring out Scrafty. Alex reaching for the Earthquake this time, not baiting. Does Scrafty respect the Earthquake? No, they don't. They near get one shot and dump energy on our Forretress. The easiest no shield of Alex's life power up punch does take us out. We come in to Hypno, resisted confusion, farm them all the way down. Azumarill choosing to throw some energy. Alex still with shields, may as well shield up the Ice Beam as we can hit him for super effective with the thunder punches. We've got 2 locked and loaded. Azumarill probably will shield the first, however We've got a second locked and loaded. Alex chooses not to throw it. We pivot out into Skuntank and the opponent says, fuck you, I'm just going to leave. GG's and thanks for playing. Alex playing with his food there and the opponent not a huge fan of that play as they did choose to concede. Hypno into Powder Snow Ninetales, pretty advantageous matchup as we have access to super effective Fire Punch. However, believe it or not, this is probably our worst matchup of the three, as both our back two Pokemon have an even better matchup. We pivot out into Skuntank and the opponent answers with Trevenant. I'm not really sure what to say. The opponent is getting torn apart by poison jabs and they can only hit us 4 resisted with their charge moves. Alex builds up to the Crunch. Crunch definitely going to knock out or draw the final Protect Shield. The opponent chooses the Shield. Another really questionable play. I'd go as far as say the opponent is in shambles. Alex can shield up the Seed Bomb, Poison Jab all the way down. If Ninetales does return, it's about to get one-shot by a Flamethrower. High Ninetales by Ninetales. And it now becomes very apparent why they come into Trevenant against our Skunk as they've got double Ghost. Alex goes for an undercharge on the Crunch. It looks like he's playing with his food. He just wants to show him we've got Forretress. We're not going to get one shot by a Shadow Ball. It is going to do quite a lot, but we do survive. Alex goes for the resisted Bug Bite Farm Down and we BM the opponent for a very nice dub. The opponent running a pretty meta team in the last battle. However, things like Drapion and Skuntank beat all 3 of your Pokemon, so Mr. Opponent perhaps do some better team building. Moving on to the next one. Hypno into another Core Breaker known as the Bear Trap, aka Galarian Stunfisk. We've got access to Fire Punch, which does hit for super effective. However, the confusions are resisted. The opponent banks a boatload of energy, pivot out into Azumarill. So Alex brings in Skuntank. The opponent fires off the Ice Beam. Skuntank shrugs it off, continues to overfarm, tearing apart Azumarill with the super effective Poison Jabs. We fire off the Crunch. Crunch does draw a shield from the opponent. I'm not a huge fan of the play from the opponent as Alex can now Poison Jab them all the way down, and if the Bear Trap does return, they're unshielded. They're going to lose charge move priority and we've got a Flamethrower. The opponent realises they're going to lose CMP as they do not throw. They go for the extra Mud Shot instead. Alex then snipes with a Confusion and the opponent quickly concedes the match, handing a Core Breaker in very nice fashion there. So a huge thank you to Nerds Rising, aka Alex. He's a fellow content creator. You can see from these battles, highly talented and a great fun trainer. As we saw some pretty nice BMs, which I am a fan of. I know it's not for everyone, but I think you've got to have fun playing the game. Why else do we game if we don't want to have fun? So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. Make sure you go check Alex out. His channel's linked down below. I'd just like to say thanks for watching and I will see you all in the next one.